Ladies, gentlemen, and of course, everybody in between, welcome back to Spec Renew. I'm your host, Declan, and today in this video, you're firstly going to ignore how much of a mess my garage is, but we're also going to be going over what our next project is going to be now that the RAV4 project is mostly done. We'll get into that into another video. Anyway, this is a CommutaCar, and so, yeah, let's get into it. This car is a CommutaCar from Commuter Vehicles. This is the younger brother to the Vanguard Sebring CitiCar. It gets twice the horsepower of that thing at 6 horsepower. It's actually the same motor, they just increase the voltage. It's basically indistinguishable except for the bigger bumpers. Anyway, let's talk about specs. From factory, this car had 8 6-volt batteries, giving it a 48-volt architecture. It used a 3-stage contactor system, which we'll get into in a little bit, and it used a 6-horsepower DC series electric motor, so no regen on this thing. No power steering, no power brakes, but you didn't need them. It's a 2-door, 2-seater coupe. This one has a sunroof, which I think is aftermarket. As far as I'm aware, no factory CommutaCars had a sunroof, but this one has one. It has a radio, which was an upgrade in this car, and an onboard charger, which appears to be missing. Oh well, we don't need it anyways. Believe it or not, they actually sold a decent amount of these. Between this and the CitiCar, they sold right around 4.4K units, which was the best-selling electric car of the time. It definitely sold a lot more units than the Electrek did, and that was way more of a car than this thing. Yeah, this thing's basically a glorified golf cart. On the spec sheet, it mysteriously leaves out the range. However, it does include that the estimated battery life is 12,000 to 18,000 miles, which is bad. And it has a charging rate of 30 amps, which is not too bad, actually. That's 6 to 8 hours to charge the original battery pack. What I do think is funny, though, is that there were trims. This car had a base trim and then a sports trim. What you got with the sports trim was side decor rally stripes, full wheel covers, a hatchback rear window, sport option decals, and a sport grip steering wheel cover. Yeah, the car couldn't go on the highway. I don't know if sport's the right word to use here. Now you might look at this car and think that it wouldn't fare very well in a crash because it doesn't look very safe. But don't worry, they address this. Your CommutaCar has undergone extensive development and testing for over 1 year to pass tests that equal or surpass US government standards. Full roll cage protection of high-grade aircraft aluminum offers maximum driver and passenger protection. Michelin steel belted radial tires are standard. Extra high back seats and seatbelts for added occupant protection. One of the safest small cars on the road. As far as I'm aware, they never crash tested this thing because I imagine it's terrible. If you get into an accident in this thing, you die. Remember how earlier we were talking about how this thing had 2 trims, the base trim and the sports trim? Well, I have a conspiracy theory. I think all CommutaCars sold were the sports trim because I have never seen a CommutaCar without this rear hatch. Come on. The rear strut's broken a little bit. Or without these sport decals. Yeah, I'm pretty sure every CommutaCar sold was a sport CommutaCar. Pretty cool. Good news! Both the back and front bumpers of this car are missing. And the reason it's good news is because, well, if I use my camera correctly, you can see that's the motor in there. And it just connected to a rear axle. This motor might look familiar if you're familiar with golf carts, because it's a golf cart motor. But yeah, there it is. The whole 6 horsepower. What a beaut. Now, if we go into the car and we remove the seat, like that, which, by the way, is never bolted down, you can see this is where all of our electronics are. Over here, you can see where our 12 volt's supposed to be and our DC to DC converter. And it actually looks like they do have a charger in here. It's not one I'm familiar with because I they changed a lot over the years with these cars. I'll show you what the original Charger looks like because I have one sitting on my floor over there. But this right here, these two contactor towers, are the entirety of the control system of this car. Let's talk about how this car actually works. Our pedal has 3 stages. If you listen closely, that probably won't pick up on at all on camera, but there are 3 switches. There's 3 positions of this pedal, and those are your 3 speeds, quote unquote. So when we hit the first switch, what happens is we only get power from one of the battery packs because this car had 24 volts in the back, 24 volts in the front. So when you flip that switch, you only get 24 volts. That 24 volts then runs around to the back of the car, where in here, back all the way in there, you can kind of see that spring. That's a resistor that would bring down the voltage to 16. So you got 16 volts to your motor in the first stage. Then, when you go into the second stage, so 1 click, 2 click, now we're getting full 24 volts to the motor. So now you are getting about half power. And that's all running through this contact tower right here. Then the third and final stage takes both battery packs, the one in the front, the one in the back, wires them in series, and shoots 48 volts directly into the motor. So this has 3 positions. It has position 1, which is this, position 2, which is down, and position 3, which is up. This contact tower here is our forward, neutral, reverse tower. And down here is our on-off switch. This contactor down in here. Extremely rudimentary system. It doesn't work very well. It makes the driving experience super clunky. I just noticed that our cigarette lighter is rusted and corroded so much. That's cool. Anyway, that's how this car works. The dash of the CommutaCar is very basic, but we do got some good controls here. Here's our lights. And also, I will note I'm not actually going to flip these switches because they become very brittle over time and will just snap if you try to flick them. So yeah, I'm not going to flick any switches in here. Dash dimmer. This is our fuel gauge. Warning lights. Hazard switch, which, oh, okay, this one didn't break. I thought I broke it there for a second. Our speedometer. This car has 2,299 miles on it. Wow. This is our ignition switch. Our forward neutral reverse switch, which, okay. Our wipers. A fasten seatbelt sign. That's pretty cool. That actually, I don't know how that would work. Anyway, this is our charging amps, and I assume our driving amps? I don't know. Maybe they're, I don't know. Wait, this is, huh. Okay. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. Anyway, it is. Then down here, you got a radio and a reading light. Pretty cool. On this side, we have heat, fan, and defroster, which is a terrible system because the way the heater works in this car is it actually kind of just takes air from down in the motor and reroutes it into the heating ducts. So you're probably breathing a lot of brush debris. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend using the heater in this car. Now, cosmetically speaking, this is actually one of the best condition CommutaCars I've seen. I'm not even joking. CommutaCars don't hold up well. But mechanically, it needs some work. So I talked to Kyle Connor, you know, the guy who owns this car, and we decided instead of converting it to how it was from factory, you know, just kind of slapping in 8 lead acid batteries and calling it a day, we decided to make it a little bit more interesting and fun. So instead, we're going to install 2 of these. This is a Tesla Model S module. It's 24 volts, so 2 of these will make 48, and it'll have right around 11 kilowatt hours of capacity, which is more than I had from factory. I want to put this down now. It's very heavy. Now, we don't want to use the original control system, you know, the contactor system under the seat, with the Tesla batteries, because there's no amp limiting on those systems, and the Tesla batteries have a lot of amps that we would rather be able to control. That's where this comes in. This is an All-Tracks series controller, 48 volts, and I've had this sitting around in my garage for a while now, and the project I was going to use it on, I never did. So I'm glad that this thing is getting some use now. So this will be replacing that weird contactor system, so we'll get smooth throttle response. Now, I know some people are going to be mad about this, but this is more fun, so I don't care. So those are the two major changes that we're going to be making. There are a few smaller changes as well, like a modern DC-DC converter and a modern charger with J7072, because why would you not add J7072? But the motor will be staying the same because it's cool, it's fun. And also, I'm pretty sure if you put a more powerful motor in this car, it would rip itself in half. So we're going to stick with the stock 6 horsepower motor. Actually, it might actually get a little bit more than that with the new controller, but yeah, original motor, and then everything else will be changed, so it'll still be weak and terrible. Now, I would like to make a timeline for this project because sometimes I tend to drag projects out a little bit too much. So I'm going to tell you the schedule, and then you guys can hold me accountable. Next week, I want all of the electronics in the car and positioned and kind of hooked up generally. The car doesn't have to drive, but I want everything into the car so we can start getting into integration hell and getting everything to work together. We can start programming the BMS. So that's next week. The week after that, I want the car to be driving. So that's the schedule. Also, somewhere in between there, there's also going to be content on state of charge, but that it doesn't matter. That's the schedule, and I want you guys to hold me to it. Also, self-promo again, because this is happening in between there. I'll be at Electrify Expo next week with my Electrex. Show up, say hi to me, come touch the Electrek. That's the end of my self-promo. That's also the end of this talking section. Schedule, hold me to it. So yeah, that's the new project. I'm very excited about it. I love CommutaCars. I have one of my own. It's a little worse for wear right now. I'm kind of neglecting it. I promise I'll get to that project at some point. It's only been 3 years. Anyway, this is the project we're working on. You guys know the schedule. Hold me to that schedule. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please consider leaving a comment. I read all the comments, even the mean ones, and I do cry a lot. Also, I swear to God, if anyone comments about my garage being messy, I know I'm sealing my own fate by saying this, but I will do something about it. I can't do much about it. I don't have the power to delete comments, but I'll call you a mean name. Don't do it. It's not funny. It's a little funny. Anyway, I'll see you all next week with the update on this project, all the electronics in the car. Hold me to it. And also, I will see you at Electrify Expo Denver. Be there. I'll also be at State of Charge, but I'm just pressed there. So if you see me, say hi. If you don't see me, I don't know. Do whatever you want. Love ya.